Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the Product Management View webinar series. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. There will be a question and answer session, and you may submit a question at any time during the conference by using the chat feature located on the lower left side of your screen. If at any time during the conference you need to reach an operator, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded Wednesday, October 28th, 2009. I'd now like to turn the conference over to Val Workman. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. To those participating through ReadyTalk, Twitter, and those of you who will be reviewing the webinar as a podcast or flash presentation later, hello. I'd like to welcome you to this new session, our Halloween webinar of the Product Management View series. I'd like to wish you all a happy Halloween and thank Jim for joining us today and providing us with this treat. I'm Val Workman from Rima Technology Solutions, one of the sponsors of this webinar. And if you'd like to present in this webinar series, you can propose a topic by sending me an email at workmanv@rimatech.com. The PMV is all about distributing the shared experiences of the members of our open product management community. And today, the PMV is the world's largest free repository of product management recordings. I'd also like to thank ReadyTalk for their generous support of this community. And also welcome ReadyTalk and Holly back from us, who's from ReadyTalk, and continuing support in our efforts. And I'm sure she'd love to hear from us and from you and any feedback you may have. This webinar is also sponsored by the LinkedIn Market Sensing Community of Practice, which is an open community of practice for folks interested in improving the practices of market sensing by product managers. And we'd like to encourage you to participate and pitch in where you can. I'll be the moderator of today's Halloween session, and it's my pleasure to welcome Jim Holland, a good friend of the product management community, who will be presenting Where the Wild Things Are, a social media's impact on market research. For those of you using Twitter, you can follow and add additional conversation and questions using the Twitter hashtag #PMV during the webinar and continue the conversation after the webinar. Today's Twitter PMV conversation will be posted afterwards on the Product Management Views blog post, and I'd encourage you to make comments and ask additional questions on this post. I'll also be collecting the questions throughout the presentation to address during the Q&A session at the end of this webinar, and please feel free to send your questions and comments to me in the chat section in the lower left corner of the ReadyTalk interface, and we'll try to respond to them during the session as well. I'm going to pass the control now over to Jim, and wish everybody a happy Halloween, and we'll kick off this presentation. Jim?
Well, thank you, Val, and welcome, everyone. I'm glad to present my thoughts and insights on social media and market research, and you'll understand the theme of where the wild things are in just a couple minutes. In our home, there's a worn copy of Maurice Sendak's Where the Wild Things Are. It's been through 4 children and several kindergarten classes, as my wife is a teacher. Now, many of you may or may not know that in October, many school children celebrated the 50th anniversary of its publishing. And I'd like to recognize the copyright of Harper Trophy books and the images created by Maurice that will be used throughout this presentation. I've been asked a few times, you seem to know quite a bit about social media, you're fairly active. What's the value of product management as it relates to social media, and is it a good vehicle avenue for market research? Or other people have asked me, social media seems to be a wild place. How do you corral it? How do you tame it? How do you use it for product management, and where are the benefits? To commemorate the 50th anniversary of the book, I'll actually be reading some of the passages from the book and using those to apply them to product management principles. And specifically, we'll talk a little bit about the social media activities that you should consider as a part of market research. I'll use also some recent examples from my consulting practice with some engagement with customers, and leave you with a few takeaways that you should try to see how it works. So, let's begin. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind or another is the way the book starts. Max is surely in product management because he spends most of his days and some of his nights and perhaps some of his weekends nailing things to the wall